Put it next to the chest. And we're back, man. I like that riff on a fucking beautiful morning. Join us in the mornings, guys. Sean and Spit in the Morning. This is episode 22, presented by Off Base Media. Friday, June 6th edition. It's nice and sunny on the East Coast. Waking up to a beautiful day. It's a great morning. We head into the weekend strong. Shani, how are we feeling?
I'm good, man. Got a wet, hot American weekend coming up, like always. Getting into a whole lot today. Before that, though, All-Star voting just opened up. Seen a little bit of Soto. A whole lot of bad shit from the Phillies. So we got the good rivalry back this weekend, though, as well. So we're going to get into it, of course, and we're always on Caglione watch as well. Yes. So we'll get into that too. But I guess we can start. All-Star voting is now open. So that's kind of huge. People have been putting out lineups and different things like that, which I've been interested in watching. We're definitely going to get into that more on Wednesday. Yeah. We'll probably talk a lot more about our picks and who we think are going to be all-stars as well. I think there's some clear-cut ones, and then there's some people who like a Jacob Wilson, like probably deserves it because like Bobby Witt's kind of had a slower start to the season, but who knows if he'll get it because of the fan vote and everything like that. So we'll see.
It'd be fun to actually sit down and do it, but I think it'd be a good conversation for Wednesday. So we got some shit to get into, baby. Let's get our vibe check going. There we go.
The vibe check's bad because the Phillies suck, but we're gonna get into that later. Do you wanna just hop right into Boston, LA?
Yeah. So you probably saw this. This was from Wednesday shit. So we got some stuff with Wednesday. What the fuck happened here? Boston, LA, before the game starts, which just would have been before Wednesday's game.
Yeah, before Wednesday's game.
So Boston's first base coach Jose Flores and I guess confronts Tyler Anderson, or maybe Tyler Anderson started it because Flores was the guy who they speculated he was stealing signs when Anderson was pitching the day before. So did Anderson say something to him? But then whatever happened, it escalated where Flores gets right in his face. Then Barry Enright was the Angels pitching coach, comes over to protect his player. He gets all up in Flores' face. Nothing really happened out of it, but it's crazy to see an altercation like that. I think benches might have cleared, or a lot of guys weren't.
It was because everybody was still in warm-ups. So like they were still. It was not like benches clearing, but it was they were already on the field and
swarmed
stuff like that.
Home plate. Nothing really crazy happened of it, but the video might make it seem a little more interesting the way I'm explaining it. But either way, a couple guys at each other's faces before the game even started, which was interesting.
My whole thing with this. And this is the only thing, like in reality, I kind of like that, like fire and stuff like that, especially from two teams who are kind of like middle of the road, especially right now. Like Boston definitely isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. We talk about them every week and how bad they are. But the Angels, young guys coming up, still, under 500 team, maybe 500, but they're showing a little fire too. The one thing, it should never be opposing player, opposing coach. I always think it should be player, coach. I disagree with how that happened. I never think a opposing coach should kind of be yelling at a player and another player in a sense. You want to go at another coach? That's fine. If another player wants to go at another player as well, I'm cool with that too. Just something's a little off to me about another player going at another coach kind of thing.
Yeah. And actually Tyler Anderson has had I saw a little some clips of him in the past few years. You wouldn't think that he's like this kind of maniac guy. He's kind of a badass. So he kind of likes this shit. So I guess he might have started the altercation, whatever. But here's the thing is like, we all know like stealing signs is part of the game. Mm-hmm. So it's not, but pitchers really have not taken too kindly of it. In this year, this is probably the third instance that I've seen where a pitcher has really had something to say with when he sees guys stealing signs. In this case, it was an opposing first base coach. In the past, it's been like a guy on second base and he's trying to like steal signs from like the catcher or whatever. And the pitcher's like doing this and the pitcher doesn't like this shit. Like the pitcher, it's part of the game, but the pitchers do not take kindly of it. And maybe that's going to be the next wave of shit where pitchers start to kind of relax, because we got to remember a few years ago, Madison Bumgarner, he never liked guys pimping shit.
Yeah,
now even pitchers start pimping shit. That's Trevor Bowerson. But you know what I mean? Like now pitchers start pimping shit. So like if you're going to start doing it, you have to respect the hitters when they get you, because you want to do it in return. This might be the next thing. It's like, well, stealing signs is part of the game. They don't like it right now, but maybe with all this bullshit in the midst of all this, it'll transition into guys just getting over themselves, and it just becomes.
But with stealing signs, I'm surprised they can even do it anymore, considering how with all the automated things now, with the buttons and everything on the catcher's leg, how did they like? It's hard to even steal signs anymore. Maybe it's like where they were setting up in the plate and different things like that, but I have no idea. Like how, like maybe it wasn't stealing signs and there's just like some bad blood or anything like that. I don't know, but I don't know. It's like once again, yeah, and it's cool to see. We like seeing the competitive nature in baseball in a sense.
And then also like pitchers always have the fucking advantage anyway. So the fact that they get mad about stealing signs, it's like, dude, we're trying.
Do you see what Kenley Jansen does every single time there's a runner on second and he thinks he's looking and tipping off?
What does he do?
He drops the ball and he balks and he puts him on third.
Oh, I actually have seen him do that. Yeah, that's a little strategy for you. Anyway, let's move on to this fucking thing. What are the 2025 Blue Jays? Do you have the fucking standings up? I mean,
yeah.
What are they?
They're right now. They're in third place. They're tied with Tampa Bay. They're 5.5 games out of first place. But right now, they're in the wild card hunt. They're a playoff team right now, dude.
Yeah, they're tied for second.
The Vladdy contract looks like it's paying off because he's starting to heat up. Bo Bichette's starting to find his swing as well. We knew this team wasn't bad, but they weren't great. Like, we don't think this team's going to contend for a World Series. Their pitching's still a little lackluster, even though Barrios and Bassett have both looked good in their past couple outings, I guess. Gausman's still there as well, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, they kind of have three guys, but then you go out and you sign Santander. Springer's not the Springer of the past, but he's still a pretty decent ball player. So, like, they have the pieces to maybe be a wild card team, which that's, I think, the height that they can get to. Yep. I don't think they'll go any further than that. Yeah. I don't think they'll go any further than that. But we can't discount that. We can't just come out here and say, oh, they suck. We can't, like, completely discredit them, because the lineup that they put out, they actually have decent players. But that's all they'll ever be, in my eyes, is a wild card team. That's really it for me.
At best, I think so. So now maybe trade deadline might answer some questions. I think the worst thing they could be at the trade deadline is actually in the hunt.
Yeah,
because if you're trying to get, I think they should get rid of Bichette while they can, get some value for him, because they're not going to sign him. So last thing you want to do is now you're going to keep Bichette, and then you don't re-sign him because you just paid Vladdy all this money. Now you get no value for him. But anyway, that's besides the point. We'll see what happens there. So that'll be an interesting predicament. But they're 8-2 in their last 10. They just took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies at home. And if I would have told you, or if someone would have told me that Tampa Bay and Toronto would have had better records than Boston and Baltimore on June fucking 6th, I think we both would have been like, that's fucking nuts. So anyway, yeah, you can't dismiss what Toronto's doing. I actually really like their staff. I think, especially when you saw how Barrios shoved against a good Phillies offense, and the Phillies were coming off a good day. The day before game 1 of that series, the Phillies offense showed up.
Yeah.
And then Barrios goes out and goes toe-to-toe with Mick Abel. I should say Mick Abel went toe-to-toe with him. But obviously the home team came out on top there with that walk-off from Alejandro and Romano. Well, hey, by the way, that's almost a different conversation, because he threw to Alejandro Kirk all those years. He knew Kirk knows Romano.
Yeah, I think Romano still wants to be a Blue Jay, if I'm being completely honest. He sucks.
He's Canadian.
We should just left him there.
And I think Hoffman actually got to win that game. Mm-hmm. And then the next game, what's his fucking face comes out yesterday. Bassett goes out and pitches to Gem.
Well.
So was that 2 runs in two games for the Phillies that they held the Phils to? And then you still have Gausman. And I've made this point before, probably years ago, back when Alek Manoah was still kicking. Like the Blue Jays staff, I never hated it. Their problem was they had guys that were good, but their problem was they weren't all good at the same time. Now we're seeing it. Like when Manoah was like the king of the fucking hill, they didn't really have like Gausman, or maybe he just had came in, or there was like Barrios wasn't that great when he first joined Toronto. And then when Barrios had a good season, Gausman wasn't that great last year. Manoah was nowhere to be seen. When Manoah started trending down, Gausman was good. Like they didn't have Bassett wasn't great last year when Barrios was. Like there was like they weren't all good at the same time. Now we're kind of seeing it where, yeah, Bassett has been really good this year. Barrios looks fine, and Gosman is, yeah, he's very reliable. He's still reliable. So now you're seeing three big guys with Vladdy at the kind of helm of your offense, and Bichette's kicking ass too. Not bad. They have a little bit of depth here and there. They also have a lot of no-namers.
Yeah, so like
not bad at all.
Like they just brought up Dalton Varsho too. Well, not just brought up, but he's been up for a little bit now, and he's their young guy, their outfielder. He's got a little power to him. He's got 8 home runs on the year. Do I think they can put it together? Right now, they are basically. They have it all put together, like you're saying. Everybody's kind of pitching up well at the same time. Hoffman looked like shit last month. He looks better this month. Maybe it was 2 months ago. I don't know. But Hoffman kind of becoming into that steady guy they can go to in the bullpen, which he was for the Phillies last year as well. But one thing with the Blue Jays is now, with Bo Bichette playing like he is, I know they don't want to pay him. Do you kind of change your tune now and pay him?
Well, maybe. Maybe. I guess they're going to have to see where they are come like July 31st or by July, whatever the fucking trade deadline is.
Yeah.
Whenever you have to know by, they're going to have to start. There's some things that are going to have to be answered. And they're not the only team in that boat. Like, we'll see how the Cardinals continue to trend, because you want to think that they're going to be, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. I think the Padres have some, going to have to address some things. So now when Toronto, since they're 8-2 in their last 10 and they're in second place, tied for second in a division that isn't, and the AL is kind of wide open a little bit.
It is. I mean, they're in the wild card. They're in the playoffs right now.
So like now they're going to have some things worth addressing. They put themselves, and maybe it's a good problem to have. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe it's the opposite of a blessing in disguise. A curse.
I think they would rather
not disguise.
I think they would rather not be in the hunt so they can finally ship somebody. And well, you think about it. This team thought they were going to be in contention all along. Going and getting a guy like Santander, you just don't go and get a guy like Santander.
That's true.
If you don't think you're going to be in the hunt in the beginning of the year. But they started off bad, but now they're kind of turning around. Like you said, they're 8-2 in their last 10. But I hate playoff baseball being in Canada. It's America's sport. I don't want them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Or if they're a wild card, if they're like in the 3-game wild card, like kind of like not the play-in, but like the first round of the wild cards. If they're the lower seed, then they won't be in Canada anyway. All those games will
better not be in
domestic. Anyway, let's keep it domestic. We don't have anything else to say about these guys, do we?
All right, do you want to move on to Texas Tampa Bay?
I don't think that's the right word. I'm not gonna even entertain these comments, but there's a better word to use. Starts with an X. All right.
Well, next we're getting into Texas and Tampa Bay. Weird series. Tampa Bay actually just ends up sweeping the Rangers. The Rangers are in a really weird spot right now. Very bad place. They get walked off in a really weird fashion last night. There was a ground ball at the middle, between first and second. Second baseman fields it, but the first baseman went after the baseball, so the pitcher didn't get over to cover first. Safe at first. 1 run scores. Well, now here comes the second run running around third. Nobody realizes it. Bang, walked off. And at bottom of the ninth, that's how you get walked off. That is bad. That is extremely bad. And this is a Rangers team that we all want to be super high on and think of everything. Nobody has any idea what the fuck is going on down in Texas with these guys.
They got swept. That's how you get swept, is a walk-off 2-ribby infield single. Yeah.
And now they're 4-6 in their last 10, 5 games under 500. Dude, they are 9-21 away.
That's really bad.
They're 9-21. That is horrible.
Really bad stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, when do you ever see a 2-ribby infield single anyway? That ball didn't go to the outfield, 2 runs scored on it. And you know what? If they didn't get swept, or maybe if they would have, I don't know. And Jack Leiter was pitching. You can't even get a win for your fucking guys. I hate that. When your guys pitch well and you can't get wins for them, I hate that. But maybe you could tip your hat to Tampa Bay at a certain point if they weren't 5 games under and just didn't get swept. Like, it makes everything look worse when this is just, it piles on. Like, if they could scrap together some wins here and there, flirt with a little bit of a closer to 500 record. I don't fucking know. Like, they're not that much out of it.
The AL's so wide open that they're still not out of it, but they need to figure it out soon because they just got swept. And what we're trying to make the point is that is a horrible way to get swept, and it's a confidence killer how the fuck do you come back from that? It's almost like you go into the next game and you're still thinking about that. Like baseball, you got to have a short memory. I don't know how you forget that because you're just thinking about it constantly. Like how the fuck did we lose that game?
And on top of it, it's like they can't really hit. I think actually Semien might have hit a homer or two in that game. I'll double check, but it's like they can't. Their offense has been quiet.
Seager looks lost when with him being back. He still doesn't look great.
Yeah, Semien was 3 for 4 with 2 solo shots in that game, and he was a second baseman when that play happened. Yeah. I don't know if you really fault anybody. I really kind of just tip my hat to Tampa Bay for that heads-up base run.
It is
realistically, but again, it piles on to Texas's issues when you get swept that way, when you can't buy a win, and not to mention their biggest issues have been their offense. They can't hit, and then when they do hit and they have a lead late in the game, well, this is how they're giving up runs, and this is how they're giving up leads and ultimately losing games. Really bad stuff. We all know that their back end of the rotation, the back end of the bullpen, maybe just their bullpen in general isn't good. So that needs to be addressed because you can't go far with a bad bullpen.
Yeah, and this is like a tale of two different teams, right?
Oh,
Tampa Bay has nothing to lose. Legit, they are playing like that's a team that's in contention probably doesn't send that runner. You know what I mean? Probably does not send that runner. Tampa Bay is playing like they have nothing to lose, and those teams are dangerous. Like, and we see it almost every year with Tampa Bay. They come in, they play free-spirited, and they're just going to go balls to the wall. Kevin Cash, great manager, great every single year, great manager. But then on the opposite side, Texas is like playing with like clenched assholes.
Yeah, they're stiff.
Like they have no idea.
Stiff.
They have no idea what they're doing, and because it's like you're almost scared to make a mistake because you don't want to be the guy that cost your team another game, especially when you're under 500 and you're not supposed to be under 500. Like this Rangers team is good. They're not good. Should be good. Mm-hmm. This lineup should be hitting the baseball. These pitchers, their pitching staff is showing up. Their bullpen isn't. Can't go win a game for your because I want the Rangers myself to be good because I like a guy like Corey Seager.
Yeah.
Adolis Garcia, when he's good, it's better for the game of baseball and stuff. Marcus Semien kind of been a piece of shit this year, but he even showed up last night. But then the ground ball to second couldn't do it, dude.
I don't even know. We got to break that play down further. Maybe on like a TikTok video, we'll like break it down and see what happened. That'd be a good concept. But I just I don't know. Did the catcher go to like back up the play at first? Like I don't know. Or the first baseman got off too far. There was no play. I don't really know. I got to watch it more in depth. But crazy stuff either way. My thing is maybe sooner or later, Texas has to go out and start playing fuck it baseball.
Yeah,
because they do look stiff right now. They could just say fuck it. Second point is they're middle of the lineup, like they're 3, 4, 5, they're 4, 5, 6, who should be hitting 4, 5, 6, are hitting at the bottom of the order right now because they're cold. Like Adolis Garcia has been like 7th, 8th hitter.
Yeah.
Semien, he's gotten dropped in the order. Like they got to figure it the fuck out. Those are top of the order bats that they are going to need to get hot. And then third, just a little question that we can end on before we go to the next topic. What's more Tampa Bay's 33-29, so are Toronto in that division. That's tied for second. They're both good. Last 10, 7-3 is Tampa Bay. 8-2 we talked about is Toronto. What's more shocking to be a second place team with Boston and Baltimore as the 4th and 5th? What's more shocking to you to see Tampa Bay at 33-29 in second, or Toronto with the same record tied for second?
Tampa Bay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to me it's Tampa Bay. I knew they would be sneaky because they're sneaky.
They're always sneaky. That's why it's almost not a shock.
But for like a 4th and 3 seed, not like a 2 seed. The Blue Jays on paper have a better roster than Tampa Bay. That's the only reason I'm saying it.
They have more notables.
Yes, exactly. They have more notable players. They have guys who could be have been all-stars before. Mm-hmm. So like that's why they're more the Tampa Bay is more shocking to me because I thought this was going to just be almost another rebuild year for them. But every single time you think it's going to be a rebuild year, psych. Yeah. They're making people think twice, every single time.
They play a great brand of baseball. They're always scrappy. That's why it's almost like I had Tampa Bay, Toronto as the 4th and 5th teams and like the two worst teams. Now they're over 500, better than Boston and Baltimore. So I think that's just shocking in general. But Tampa Bay, you can never really count them out. I thought their window, they're not a team that has a large window. So I thought their window has since closed. But they're still there, and Toronto might shock me a little bit more. But go to our next order of business with Juan Soto. That is, you guys know him as Juan. Some of them know him as the Soto Shuffle, which we saw this weekend or this past week, I should say.
Yeah, so the people are kind of speculating now. Juan Soto had a pretty good start to June. The Soto shuffle was seen back again in LA. Bright lights on. Juan Soto now doing the Soto shuffle again. In his last 6 games, he's batting 333 with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. Seeing a little bit more out of Juan, especially in a big series against. Oh, so sorry, not. But sorry, I must have looked at this beforehand because he went over 3 last night.
Mm.
But anyway, some of these other games, he's looking kind of like the Juan Soto of the past. He had 3 home runs in 3 games, 5 ribbies on top of it. Soto shuffles back, getting a little bit more of his swagger back. Like you said, it could be deceiving because he did have a good start to what was it?
He did. Yeah, he entered last month really good. He entered the
Yeah.
month of May hot, and maybe even the end of April, entering May, good start. And now we're seeing it end of May, early June, good start. But hey, I mean, who is he going to be cold forever? Come on.
Yeah, it's Juan Soto. You just got to take it with a grain of salt every time he quote unquote struggles. You know what I mean? But the I hope he's not back because I don't want him playing the Mets. But I don't want to play the Mets like that, especially with the way the Phillies look. But anyway, I don't know. Do you think this is kind of he's getting back into it, or do you think it's going to take a little bit more than just one series?
It'll take a little bit more. His overall in the season, he's still hitting 229, but 273 in his last 7 with that 0 for 3 yesterday. But look at this. I mean, he's getting more walks, which he's always going to be an on base machine. But now, his last 7, his on base is creeping up 484 in his last 7. So he's entering the month of May and getting on base a shit ton of times, slugging over 700. So we love to see that. I mean, well, if you're a Mets fan or whatever. The Mets are also in first place, and they're 1.5 games up on the Phils. Because the Phils, we'll talk about the Phils in a second, but I mean, they're just cut off a bad series. Where the Mets, I think, did they split the series in Chavez Ravine? Is that what happened there?
I think so. I think they went 2-2. Do you have it?
I have our picks.
It would be the last game.
Did they even? Oh, it went Mets, Dodgers.
So 2-2.
They split the series, so they went toe to toe with the Dodgers, where the Phillies didn't really necessarily go toe to toe with. And the Phillies lost 2 straight series now, so they fall where the Mets climb. Mets are really showing no signs of kind of letting up off the pedal when they lost. When the Phillies and them switched for possession of first place in the East. The Mets. They didn't Met really. They're bouncing back. So this is a different Mets team than past years. We saw it towards the end of last year. But yeah, and Soto's only really going to help with that. He does deepen a lineup. Even when he's cold, he can deepen a lineup, put together good at-bats. Now, when he implements the Soto shuffle into his game and he's really feeling himself, that could be a scary thing.
Yeah. And Juan Soto being good is really good for baseball, but as a Phillies fan, I don't want to see him back.
Yeah, and fuck the Soto shuffle. He hasn't done it enough, and he really got into it in Chavez Ravine. He Soto shuffled.
I know.
He did the
it
head
looked like
nod.
He was back in his Nationals uniform.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just when you're seeing him do that, it means he's got his swagger back. They were doing a bottle flip game.
I saw
and
that,
he seems
too,
to be more one with the team now. So maybe it took him a little while to kind of get his bearings in Queens. I mean, listen, this is a guy at the end of the day. We just talk about no one really talks about it like this, but this is a guy who is only 26. He's just been like in his 4th team in 5 years or whatever the fuck it is? Maybe 4 years. 4th team in 4 or 5 years, whatever it is. He's moving around all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. There is high expectations on the guy. Let him get his bearings in the first few months of the season. Maybe that's what it was. And now we're seeing him. And at the very least, the average is still down, but his swagger's there. And that's, I think, going to be a good thing for him. Okay, what the fuck else we got?
We got AZ versus Atlanta, another series a lot like the Tampa Bay and the Rangers.
Thanks alive.
So, I guess we'll talk a lot more about yesterday's game. The Diamondbacks going into the 9th had a 0.1% win probability. They were down by 6 going into the 9th. Well, guess what? They won the game. They scored 7 in the top of the 9th. Didn't walk it off because they were the away team, but legitimately took the hearts from the Braves and swept them again. And once again for the Braves, like we just talked about with Texas, What a way to get swept.
What a way to get swept.
What a way to get swept.
Dramatic fashion. And the Braves are now in 4th place. Nationals are ahead of them in the standings.
Yeah, so the Braves are 11 games back, sitting at 27-34. 7 games under 500. 7 games back in the wild card. Braves fans have to be having an absolute meltdown right now because, like, you think about the roster they put out there, it's better than the Rangers roster. If you think about it, with Olsen, Harris, Acuna, Riley, Albies, that top 5's disgusting. That's top 5 that can be an all-star every single year.
Yeah.
Then you have Strider, Sale, Schwelly. Never mind. Freed's on the Yankees now. But anyway, but those top 3 should be like one of the top. Those top 3 make you one of the best rotations in baseball alone, or should make you one of the best rotations in baseball. And our Strider talk is getting a lot of hate on YouTube. How about you guys come to reality and look at the stats? And I mean,
there was like a few people more people liked the video.
I know, but Braves fans are just in denial. That's what it is. They're just in denial. Maybe the team. Who is their manager?
Brian Snitker.
He's been there for a while too.
You want to ring with them?
Exactly. So he gets a lot. He gets a little bit more leeway, like Cora as well, to have kind of that bad. But if I'm a Braves fan, I'm in full blown panic mode because it's like we are 7 games under 500 to get. We always talk about how hard it is to even get a wild card spot in the NL. Yeah. They are going to have to go on an insane run if they want to even sniff the wild card.
Absolutely. And now the Nationals are a little bit ahead of them. So now you put yourself behind the Nats. And the Nats aren't like this god-awful team. But, I mean, if you're the Braves, you want to be more in the conversation with where the Phillies and Mets are and not where, flipping positions with the Nationals right now. But anyway, you touched on pretty much everything with Atlanta. We could talk about AZ in a more optimistic sense where they entered this series 3 games under. They swept, and now they're 500. So it was a must-win for both teams. And we talked about the opener of the series was Strider and Gallen was a must-win for both pitchers. Gallen got it done. Strider didn't. It's almost like it's become evident who the better team is here, even though Arizona's only 500. They're in 4th place too, but in a way better division. Where Atlanta, like, if you're going to be the real deal, you have to take advantage of a bad Arizona. They were not bad, but they entered the series under 500. So you got to keep tacking on. Instead, they go on they're now currently on a 4-game losing streak, where Arizona, when they got under 500, now they're on a 4-game win streak and can put themselves back at 500. That's just the difference of these teams right now. The past Atlanta teams were a team that would take care of business with these opportunities. They would take care of business. They did not take care of business early this week. We'll get into their weekend series in a bit, but they did not take care of business in this series. Arizona did take care of business, and they were on the road. Maybe a little harder for them. So Arizona did take care of business. Good job, Snakes alive. You could see that there's a little bit of fight in them. Atlanta did not take care of business, and that just kind of proves this is a different Atlanta team than we've seen in the past years. By the way, maybe whatever was haunting the Mets for so long and whatever was giving Atlanta some fight for so long kind of flip-flopped. They must have, like, rubbed elbows in New Orleans. If you know, you know. You ever hear that? Yeah. If you rub elbows in New Orleans, you change fate. Well, maybe the Mets and Braves did that because right now the Braves are metting and the Mets are proving to take care of business like the Braves used to do.
And it's just, if I'm a Braves fan, I'm terrified because you know what their big thing was after yesterday's game? They brought up Craig Kimbrell. Don't worry, Braves fans. Craig Kimbrell's back to save the day.
Braves legend.
Braves legend.
Did he win a Rookie of the Year there?
He might. He was like the best closer in baseball when he was on the Braves for a while. So like he probably did. But anyway, like he sucks now. He's been playing in AAA for the whole entire year. Yeah. He sucked when he was on the Phillies. He sucked when he was on. Where'd he go after that? The Orioles.
He wasn't. I mean, he was. I think after the Phillies was the Orioles, and then he had some stints with other teams.
But I mean,
he's a Rookie of the Year with this team. Come on, you gotta love Craig. I think anything is just gonna be anything here. Like it's not working right now. You need help in that pen, maybe. I don't know. I think something about Bryce Elder getting caught. He's pitching this weekend, so we can look into him in a second. But I thought they sent him down. Now he's back. But I don't mind the whole Craig Kimbrell thing. Like whatever sparks something. You want some more veteran presence. You want some more help in that pen. Fine. I don't think he won't be their closer, but maybe for like the 7th inning. I don't fucking know. But anything. They need anything right now. So whatever. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do.
It's also something we didn't talk about a lot with the Rays, but this this type of win does wonders for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
The amount of confidence that has to be coming out of that ball club right now to just go on a run, a much needed run too. But when you see you can win an impossible game like that, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And now they stroll into the weekend strong. I think they have a favorable matchup, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Let's talk about something that wasn't so beautiful. And it goes by the name of Jesus Luzardo. I mean, should I save you the rant? Do you want to save it for the Phils as a whole? Should I let me bring up Luzardo's last two really quick while you have to just bask into this for a sec. Luzardo at his last two. I think I wrote it here. What is Luzardo at his last two? 5 2/3 innings. This is in 2 starts. 20 earned runs, which is like unheard of in 5.2 innings in his last 2 starts with 21 hits, and he's 0-2 in that span. ERA shoots well over 4 now. Really bad stuff. Phil's losers, as we said. And this was a guy who was unhittable for a certain period of time. Now we look at his last 2. Explodes his ERA. 20 runs in his last 5.2 innings. That's insane. That's insane. It's probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Jesus Luzardo's first 67 innings pitched, 16 earned runs. Jesus Luzardo's last 5.1 innings pitched, 16 earned runs, but 20 earned runs on top of that. Never mind. So 20 earned runs.
Well, 20 in his 5.2.
Yeah, 5.2. So that 0.1.
Yeah.
But I mean,
dude, 4 runs before getting the next out.
Jesus Luzardo started out this by having the worst ever outing of his career. Rob Thompson kept him in way longer than he should have.
You've been talking a lot about confidence. I mean, maybe you let him in, get shelled. What does that do?
Exactly. I mean, no, that was my next point.
Because you kept talking. Because you made me think of it.
Because he's like Rob Thompson. I can never understand what he's doing as a manager. I can't, because he leaves Luzardo in to just get wrecked on Saturday, and now he takes him out quick, gives him the quick pull. It still doesn't matter because he still had a horrible fucking outing again against. So who was it against Saturday? It was
just the outing before was maybe Milwaukee.
So I mean, actually, Toronto and Milwaukee could be comparable teams in a sense, but like, dude, what are you doing? You're just like leaving him in to get shelled. I'm talking more about Saturday. I think that's pathetic kind of thing. He just completely blew any sense of like Cy Young.
Well, I wouldn't say completely. I mean,
dude,
first things first. Like, it'd be awesome if he was an all-star. I don't even think he's thinking about that. But first things first, be an all-star.
His ERA jumped up to a 4.46.
So now it's like, yeah, for a guy who probably could have been an all-star, definitely should have been an all-star, and maybe was he going to even be, if he kept it up, be in conversations to start the damn game. Because now all-star, but as soon as the all-star voting gets open, he gets 20 runs in over 5 innings.
So like Jesus Luzardo is the topic of conversation right now. But then you go out on 2 days ago, Mick Abel comes up, pitches another gem again. And then your offense can't get it done. And I can tell you why our offense just can't get it done. Our 3 rotational guys out in the outfield of left and center between Kepler. Well, actually, we'll put Weston Wilson into this fucking conversation
too.
Did he
pitch yesterday?
Yeah, he did. Again, to back-to-back Jesus Luzardo starts that Weston Wilson ended up pitching.
He has more innings pitched this year than Ohtani and Garrett Cole combined.
Yeah, and guess what? He probably has more strikes thrown than hits too. He Max Kepler, everyday starting left fielder, batting .214 on the year. Then we get to Brandon Marsh, batting .215 on the year. Johan Rodas batting .248 on the year. And let's find Weston Wilson's batting a cool .172 on the year. Those are people in our lineup every day, no matter one way, whatever way you want to put it. Brandon Marsh the other day, on the day we did explode, right? This was probably one of the worst at-bats I've ever seen taken. Gets 3-0, bases loaded, 1 out. Hit a fucking fly ball, dude. Get one person home, right? Just kidding. He strikes out looking. That's like Brandon Marsh is not a big league center fielder anymore. Not on the Phillies. He can go be somewhere, probably play and start somewhere else. He's not a big league starter on the Phillies. Johan Rojas, you can talk about his hitting has maybe improved, but guess what? Now he's making fielding errors out in center, which is crazy because that's why we brought him up for the fielding, not his hitting. And then in left field, we have Max Kepler, who I'll admit I liked at the beginning of the season. I thought he hit the ball very hard. And I thought eventually he was going to find gaps. Guess what? I was wrong. He's not finding any gaps whatsoever. He's batting what did I say? 214 with a 302 on base percentage. Fuck you, Max. And then Weston Wilson. Weston Wilson is one of the big reasons we lost on Sunday to the Brewers because he played a fly ball so poorly. What'd I say? First step's always back, Weston. Just kidding. He jolted in, and he's not even hitting because he's in the lineup to hit, not to field. Well, guess what? He's not doing that. And we got two guys in the minors who are hitting over 300, both of them. Otto Kemp's got like 14 or 16 bombs since being called up in March. Bring these guys up. Bring them up. And then on top of that, we're led by Rob Thompson, the Canadian himself, who's got no heart. I think it starts at the top. You can say it starts with the veterans and stuff like that. But guess what? We're a product of who's managing us. Rob Thompson is a very calm, cool, collected guy. And there's zero heart, and which is scary to me. That's the scariest thing about this team. When things are going bad, you can see it in all their faces. They wear their hearts on their sleeve. And when things are going good, it's great. It's fun. Everybody's having fun. Well, guess what? When things are going bad, that dugout looks like it's like quiet. It looks like everybody hates each other. No one's talking. And that's the part that's scary to me. I don't know. I'm just a guy sitting on talking to a screen right now. So I don't know what's going on in that clubhouse. I'm assuming it's all good. There's a lot of veterans on that team, but it scares me because the guy that's sitting at the top of the stairs is not. He shows no emotion either. So when you get into these ruts and stuff like that, baseball's a game. Game of streaks. But like, you cannot lose games in that and how we've been losing them, especially with the Brewers series. Now this Toronto series. Am I worried about the Phillies? I'm not going to hit the panic button yet. Obviously not. We still know we have a good team, but like, where's that identity when we went on this run, when we went on the run back in the day, where it was fuck you baseball. We're going to go out. We're going to punch you in the mouth. Where is that again? It's just not there anymore. And that's what scares me.
They're going to have to get going. For as long as I can remember, though, the Phillies have been a second half team. They weren't so much last year, and they got booted in the first round of the playoffs. So I wouldn't mind them to, if they start off the season good, struggle in June a little bit, then maybe early mid-July is the All-Star break. Maybe they trend down a little bit in June, but they do enough to stay afloat. They're not a team that's going to get under 500 in June, but they'll do enough to stay afloat. But maybe this is where it's kind of like, oh shit, Luzardo comes down to earth. They have issues in that outfield, whatever the fuck it's going to be. And maybe Schwarber's a big reason. Schwarber in June, like we can look forward to that. But anyway, then second half they take off. They've been a second half team for even back when we were like in like high school or maybe before that. And then some of their best postseason runs in recent memory have happened when they got hot at the right time. So I wouldn't hate if they were a second half team and history repeats itself. And then come playoff time, maybe they don't win the division, but come playoff time, they go on a deep run like they've been able to prove in the past. Because that's what the playoffs is right now, getting hot at the right time. And last year I thought the Phillies got cold at the wrong time, So I wouldn't mind if that was a little bit of the case.
But also I hate him so much. But going back to my point earlier about kind of like the emotion in the dugout and things like that, I think our WIP guy that we like to watch, that Phillies guy, I forget what his name is. Brody.
Or Hunter Brody?
Yeah, he's awesome, first off. He's a true Philly guy, but he brought up a good point that this all started when Bryce kind of got hit. Did you see that video?
I don't think so.
He was talking about how when Bryce got hit, there was
Rob Thompson's comments.
No, it was a little bit of Rob Thompson's comments, but like it was more of the in the act thing. Like nobody even got up. Like nobody got up. Nobody was on the top stair, like looking out from the bullpen. They all just kind of sat there, and it's like where I miss that Philly fight that they used to have, and I like. You know who, and honestly, now I'm starting to think more. Maybe that was all from Hoskins when they had that fighting, they had that heart to them that being brought up as a Philly kind of gave him. And
because he was the only guy there that was there when they weren't good.
Exactly. Yeah. So he knew how much that shit meant to him. But then also like my guy Stott started out really hot this year, and now he's batting 244 and looking a little bit lost up at the plate again. So this team, like you said, hopefully we can bank on them being a second half of the year team. But I would really like to see the young guys come up. And somebody also brought up a good point in another video I saw. Same guy he was asked, like, do you think these guys should be brought up? And he was basically saying, he said no, because it shows that we are kind of giving up on winning a World Series if we bring these guys up, which I disagree.
I
with.
disagree. If anything,
Yeah.
it would show that you're maybe giving up on the outfielders,
Yeah.
but like that are currently playing, the Marshes in the world who have been up for a while. But I think it might light a fire under their ass. That's what I would say. Light a fire under them. Give them something to fucking work with. You want to be in the starting lineup, Brandon? Well, so does what's his dick in AAA.
Crawford and Kemp.
So do those guys. They want to be in a lineup too, and they might be hungrier than you. So I might fuel you and do that. And I'm surprised Kevin Long hasn't done anything with the hitting, because you talked about the hitting and the approaches with like. He's a good hitting coach.
Yeah, but he wasn't great last year either. Like, he's had 2 back-to-back years where these guys now, and I think it's because we have so many veterans. It's not young guys. With these vets, I guess Rob Thompson and Kevin Long even might be a more like hands-off approach. Like, you guys have been in the league so long, you know what you're doing. You have to come to me. I'm not going to go to you, kind of thing. And I don't know that. I'm just completely speculating. Yeah. But with veterans, it's got to be hard, which we have a lot of.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, everybody's going to give Turner slack for his errors and everything like that. But guess what? Turner's hit 300 this year with an 801 OPS. So, like, he's having a damn good year at the plate. He just isn't doing great in the field. A lot more people are starting to get on the Turner to center field train.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it. It sucks that you got to, we talked about this, you got to, like, hide your $300 million man defensively. But, yeah, you need his bat. I'd love for him to be a 2020 guy. He'd be flirting with a 30-30 season. He's still swiping bags like a maniac. So he's still very useful. But, yeah, I mean, it doesn't help when, you have some of these issues and you got to, like, manufacture runs, and there's going to be close games because some of the guys in the bottom of the lineup aren't producing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even throughout the whole lineup. You talked about Stott's been leading off. He's trending down with the batting average. So when all that stuff is happening and then, you only scored 2 runs in the last 2 games, you can't afford to be making errors and shit like that, especially now in a pivotal position like shortstop.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, you got a guy like Bohm who's on the up and up now. He was below 200 in the beginning of the year, and now he's batting 274. So he's kind of found it with his swing. But I guess we can move on a little bit. But
keep the Philly spirits alive.
Yeah, because Duran to Philly, it's been heating up a little bit. Yeah, you can show that one, which is and that was every Phillies fan watching the game the past 2 days, especially. The past 2 days were bad for these Philly guys, and it's not just that they can't hit; it's that their approaches are so bad. Their approaches, just when they get up, they have no idea. They look lost.
And it's a shame because there's 2 guys, both of them from Vegas, that I give a lot of credit for having good approaches. Some people might bash Harper's approach. I personally love it. I love it too. He's aggressive when he has to be, and he can bear down at the right time. I think he's the perfect amount of aggressive yet disciplined. I love it. And Stott realistically has a good. So when you have 2 guys in the lineup like that with good approach,
and Schwarber 95% of the time has a good approach. Sometimes he gets out of himself,
but he does find his way on base a lot.
Yeah,
with the walk. So. It's crazy. I mean, now granted, Castellanos really doesn't.
He's horrible.
But
and sometimes Trey doesn't have the greatest approach either.
He doesn't either.
JT grounds out more than anybody in the league.
But you would think, just having, like, if Stott's somewhere, wherever he's in the lineup, and Harper's in the middle, he's a centerpiece of your lineup, like, you would think those guys' approaches could not necessarily carry on, but there's enough there to, like, compensate for some things. But whatever. How do we fix some shit in Philly? This could be an answer right here.
So this is only speculation because Bleacher Report put out a report saying that Duran to Philly makes a whole lot of sense, which honestly it kind of does. Like, the Phillies need an outfielder. They need an everyday.
That's what the Phillies are making the fan base do.
But
they're back in PA. I don't know if they're home this weekend, but they will be back in PA.
No, they're in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
This makes a whole lot of sense because the Phillies have the young guys coming up, both positions that they're saying Painter and I think it's Eduardo Tate, who's a catcher, both positions that the Red Sox need. Painter will be more likely to come up quickly. Tate will be a little bit further down the road, but they have problems in the outfield because the fans are now calling for Roman Anthony to come up, so they need to get rid of an outfielder. Yeah. And if they were to give up a guy like Painter and Tate, they would have to get Duran, not one of the other 2. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason this is kind of getting heat. I don't think it's gonna happen because Dave Dombrowski has basically made it very clear that Painter's off limits. Like, he's going to be a Philly no matter what. We would have to get, like, he's talking like we would need like Shohei or Juan Soto to get rid of Painter. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how he holds Painter in that regard. But this trade could happen. Maybe you send like a little bit more. You give like Mick Abel and some of those guys in AAA, maybe. But once again, they're both outfielders. They don't need outfielders and stuff like that. So they need a pitcher. They need that catcher. But it won't be Painter if this happens. Duran could be on the.
What about Otto Kemp? They need infielders over there.
He plays everywhere, so he could play
short, third.
Yeah, he plays, dude. I was looking at where he was playing coming up. They had him at second. They didn't have him at short. They had him at first, second, third. He's playing left in the AAA right now.
He could play first. So, Boston might like him to play first a little bit.
So the Phillies do have the pieces to go get it, and I love Duran. Duran's my favorite non-Philly. Like I love the way he plays. I love everything about him. So that would be cool in my eyes. Do I want to give up Painter? No, not really. But it's win now, man. We got to win right now. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they do because we need relievers. We need an outfielder. I think we have the answer in our own organization, but will they bring them up? I don't know. Will they trade for them? I don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see how Dombrowski and that front office handles this situation as a whole.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, the Phillies, what they need is pretty evident, so the deadline is always a fun time. Okay, Caglione watch. We got a few more orders of business before we get into our Wet Hot American weekend. But here's the Caglione watch. So obviously his debut was when?
Wednesday or Tuesday?
Wednesday. Tuesday. Debut was Tuesday. Highly anticipated debut. Guy goes 0 for 5. That's no problem though. Yeah. That's no problem. You know, getting his feet wet in the major leagues, and the offense was there. They won that game, and the offense was there despite him really contributing. They took 2 out of 3 from St. Louis, so they win the game. Offense was there. In that game, he was batting 6th and DHing, and I'm keeping an eye on Caglione because first of all, I had Kansas City winning this division, so I really want to see them do it. The offense looked good in this series against a good St. Louis team. So the Battle of Missouri, and that was in St. Louis. So I like that. Also, I'm very curious to see with him being a first baseman, he's been playing a lot of right field. He DH in his debut, batting 6th and DH in his debut. You also have Salvi, who I don't think he's going to be behind the dish as much as he used to be. He's a little bit older. He's such a big motherfucker, too. So you want to kind of save his knees and keep him, but you want to keep his bat in the lineup. So he could play first, he could DH, but if now you have Pasquantino at first. You want those lefty bats. Pasquantino been playing better ball. So I'm just interested to see how they go about it. And, of course, I've been vocal about how I want Caglione to be a corner outfielder. They've had him in right. I suggested left. They have him in right. Game 2 of his major league experience happened yesterday. It was a doubleheader. So Wednesday got PPD'd. So game 1 of the doubleheader, which was game 2 for him, he hit 6 again, and this time he played right field. So the first time we saw him in the field, they lost that game via the walk-off, but it was a good game. He went 1 for 4 with a ribby double. That was his first major league hit. So welcome to the show, Caglione there. And then last night's game, which was game 2 of the doubleheader, game 3 for Caglione, he played 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. He was batting 6th and playing right field again. And just for again with some of these in mind and how we all know that Kansas City needs to deepen a lineup, but we know how Kansas City, again, I think they're a playoff team this year, but they haven't really showed it offensively. How do you deepen a lineup? How do you create more depth and more lefties in a lineup? Well, Jack's DHing. When Jack DH'd in his first game, Pasquantino at first, Salvi catching. Then you go Jack in right field. Well, Salvi's playing catcher and then moves to first. When Pasquantino was playing first, got pinch hit for, and then you move Salvi there. So they're able to do these things. It's just going to be a kind of a case-by-case basis, and I think it's going to revolve around Salvi and how his, I don't know if you want him to catch 3 games in a row, but you don't want to ever take him out of the lineup. When Jackson right, Salvi's at first, Pasquantino DH'd in game 2 of the doubleheader there. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about it, but to have Pasquantino and Caglione kind of in the middle towards the middle, 3 and 5 or 3 and 6 in that order, and they're both lefties, adds depth. They're still not perfect offensively, but once we start seeing Caglione get into one, I think they might start coming in bunches, and it'll all be good for Kansas City. I think I see them climbing in the standings. I really do.
Yeah, they probably will. The AL Central's kind of come back down to earth. Remember, they maybe 2 weeks ago, there were 4 playoff teams, and now there's only 1. You know what I mean? So they have come back down to earth a little bit more. Kansas City Royals are 33-30, and I mean they're only a half game out of the wild card, 7.5 games back in the division because the Tigers keep trending upward. But if the Tigers, not the Tigers, sorry, the Royals can put it together, as you were just saying, it's going to be interesting to see how they. I like all the things that we were just talking about with the different lineup shakes that they can have. You can throw a good lineup out there with different pieces every single day. So they just need to find their bats. The fact that they haven't found their bats yet and they're still 33-30 is a credit to their pitching and just had their ability to just win games and tough games out. So I do think I agree with you. They're going to be climbing a little bit, especially because I think the Twins and the Guardians would probably trend a little bit more the other way.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Blue Jays and the Rays over there in the East are going to hold those wild card positions forever.
I agree. Also, what does Kansas City look like? Oh yeah, they got a same amount of wins, just one more loss than those guys in the East. But either way, they won the series against St. Louis, which is really good for them.
Oh, sorry, there's 3 playoff teams in the Central right now. My bad.
Okay, yeah. But still.
Wild card. They got the wild card
and even
still.
Seattle's kind of there. So it'll be interesting. There's a lot of time. But either way, they win that series against St. Louis, and St. Louis playing good ball. So that's really good for Kansas City. And the offense showed up there. This is a team that was kind of winning a lot of close games. Now, granted, they were close games, but the offense was there. I mean, this was like a 10-7 game. This was like a 6-5 game or 7-5, whatever it was. The offense was putting up more runs across the board just with Caglione in there to deepen the lineup and give you an extra lefty bat, which was big. This is the big series weekend here. The Yankees and Red Sox face off for the first time this year. How do you like that? They'll have 3 games this weekend, of course, 3 games set. And then next weekend, they got to do back-to-back weekends. We got these motherfuckers.
Are they in New York this weekend?
This week in New York, next weekend in Boston.
That'll be, I mean, anytime, even say both teams suck, like the Yankees and Red Sox both suck, maybe they're 4 and 5 in the division. Guess what? Everybody's still going to tune in. Because it's the best rivalry in baseball. In reality, I think that the Yankees should take care of business. But once again, you can't fault either teams for losing this quote unquote losing the series because weird shit happens whenever these two line up. There's a lot of history, a lot of like the Red Sox are looking to claw out of the dungeon right now in 4th place
and murder you.
Yeah, and they want to absolutely take it to the Yankees right now and prove that they are the team that they should. Will they do that? I don't know. I hope Walker Buehler's on the bump for one of these games because then there's probably going to be some fireworks. Maybe that'd be awesome. Walker Buehler is always Walker fucking Buehler as they call him. But I think it definitely is still. I see there you have it. Like, is it still a rivalry? Yes. I 100% think so, but I don't think it's the rivalry that it once was, like back in the early 2000s, because these were both teams who were like, we're going to go win a World Series. Yeah. Not just, we're not like, it wasn't the Red Sox who have been mid for the past couple of years. It's not of the past when you had Veritek, you had Clemens on the other side. You know what I mean? Those were true Boston and New York guys who fucking hated each other. It's not like that anymore, but it's still a fun series to watch.
Yeah, it's still always going to be a great series. Yeah, even if it isn't the rivalry it used to be, or even could be. Like, I'm not losing hope. Like, I still think it could. Before the season started, I actually thought the rivalry was going to be the rivalry again. Now, you said it. Even if it's not even if both these teams suck, it's going to get airtime. People are going to want to tune in. If they're tuning into a good baseball game, that's a different thing. But it is going to always be a good rivalry. In theory, I don't know if we're going to see anything happen crazy, but maybe. Who knows? Walker Buehler might speak his mind, and you got guys on the Yankee side that speak his mind. And that's why before the season started, I thought that the rivalry was going to be back to where it was. Kind of peak rivalry was early 2000s.
Because we thought these guys were going to be 1-2.
That's
why.
And that's the big thing is, I had them as the 2 best teams in the division, and both teams have to be good for it to be a rivalry. And you also need guys, like in this day and age with social media, everyone's like buddy and everyone knows each other. Plus there's a lot more trades and shit, so guys are like bouncing around and their teammates. This guy knows this guy and we're friends because you're friends, and there's a lot of that this day and age. So you don't really see it, but for the first time in a while, the Yankees do have guys that will speak their mind, that will come out and piss you off with what they do and what they say. And I think Boston has that too. So now you have that on both sides. I thought that both teams were going to be the top 2 teams in the division this year, competing for something. And I thought the rivalry was going to be the rivalry yet again, or like it was back in peak rivalry when we were still little jits running around. I don't think that's the case right now, because for it to be a good rivalry, both teams have to be. And right now, the Yankees are holding up their end. They're always over 500. They're always competing. They're always like in the playoffs for the most part. Where Boston really hasn't. They haven't held up their side of to make it a true rivalry because both teams have to be good for it to happen. And Boston hasn't been good, and they're not good this year. Maybe they just say, fuck it, we're going to go in. This could spark Boston if you get the blood flowing, the adrenaline pumping, and everyone's booing you. Maybe this is like a little kick in the ass that they need is to come into the Lions' Den in the Bronx Zoo. But who knows? Maybe they could also fall very flat and even, feel like they ran into a wall with this series. So I would love that too. But I don't think it's the rivalry it can be and used to be. But what are you going to do? It's still going to be a great series. I would love the Yankees to, in the next 2 weekends, go 4-2.
Do we get Crochet and Fried?
Crochet this series, not Fried in the series, not this weekend. But we'll see Crochet this weekend. But again, I think 4-2. What do you think? That's good. That's good.
That's realistic
for the next 2 weekends.
I would love
2 out of 3 and 2 out of 3.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see Boston come out and play some fuck you baseball, but I don't know if they're gonna.
I think that's gonna be Monday's episode.
Yeah, we can talk. We can get more in depth. Don't worry.
We'll do. Yeah. Well, I'm still breaking down all the clips and putting them in slow motion for you and all that shit. But yeah, I think it can be a good rivalry again. I don't know how good it's going to be this weekend. It'd be great. The Red Sox really just said fuck it and really made things crazy. But we'll see. We'll see. So we move on to this fucking shit. Because we'll talk more about Boston Yankees when we get to our Wet Hot American Weekend. But to lead off with the Wet Hot American Weekend, we're actually going to talk about a couple of things. There's no games. This shit isn't happening tonight. So our Wet Hot American Weekend starts off with tomorrow's slate a little bit and a Saturday, Sunday with the Athletes United Softball League. How about that? June 7th at 3.
Starting in what? Wichita and Rosemont, Illinois, and Wichita, Kansas. We talked about. We were pretty excited for this. It's kind of cool to see that this is coming back into light. Because softball is actually kind of fun to watch.
Super fun. Yeah.
I don't know anything about the teams. I didn't do my research. I know you're a Bandits fan.
I'm a Bandits fan.
You wanted them in Omaha, right?
I wanted the Omaha Bandits.
Yeah,
is what I like.
So we're Bandits fans over here, and then if we're talking about, so that's Talons versus Bandits in Rosemont, Illinois, Saturday 3:00, Sunday 2:00. Then the second series is the Volts versus the Blaze, and I'm a big Blaze guy. So we're going Saturday 7:30 and Sunday 5:00. So let's go Bandits, let's go Blaze. I think we had the Tennessee Volts versus the
Chattanooga Volts. Was it Chattanooga Volts? I think it was. And it was like the Tuscaloosa Blaze.
Yeah.
And the Salt Lake City Talons or something.
Yeah.
Shit.
But we're
making shit up.
But we're in on it. We like the AUSL. We're gonna we'll probably dive deeper in on Monday's episode when we talk about the rest of it. We'll talk a little bit more on it.
They also have a game Monday too, so they'll be playing a whole shit ton. But they're obviously they don't have homes. We just made up bullshit homes for the fuck of it. But they're doing like this touring style. So yeah, we'll kick off in Rosemont, Illinois on MLB.com. So every Bandits game that you'll watch this weekend will be on MLB.com. And then there is a game on Saturday at 7:30 on MLB Network. That's Volts and Blaze. But, I mean, okay, listen, I understand you want to hype up this shit on MLB Network and play it on the network. But why can't there be like an afternoon game on the network? Why does it have to be a 7:30 game on MLB Network when you have like Yankees Red Sox at like 7:05?
That's true. That's very true.
That's because, Yankees Red Sox might be like that might be like a Fox game or some bullshit.
I know.
So the Phils are on the poop series that they used to call it's happening.
Yeah, but it is the Pirates. So and plus we'll get into it later. But
they don't do the poop anymore, right?
No, it's Phil and Pitt when they put it on.
Well, here I'm gonna.
Oh, you want to take it?
Yeah, we're taking our Wet Hot America Weekend. We did pretty shitty over the start of the week.
I know we were below 50%. I'm pretty sure, right?
I would say like 53. Which is really bad. 47.
Yeah, 47%.
47%. We both were. But anyway,
give me the Bandits. And then the Volts and Blaze split. Give me the Blaze on Saturday.
Oh, you have Sunday. Bandits for both?
Yeah,
me too.
And then give me the Blaze on Saturday and the Volts on Sunday. I'm going 4 for 4 with that.
The only thing that sucks about this touring style with only 4 teams is that it's like a lot of just the same teams playing over and over. But that's okay. I mean,
it creates rivalries.
It creates good rivalries or maybe friendships. I hope not.
I hope not friendships. We don't want friendships.
And but it does. They're probably traveling together too, spending a lot of time. I don't know how it works.
I hope they hate each other.
I hope they hate each other too. I hope there's a lot of like they're just in each other's faces and shit.
Mhm.
And which they can be. You know,
They could.
They could be. I think some of these chicks are gonna have like short fuses and be like, bitch. Like I don't think they want to spend a lot of time with each other.
I hope not.
Maybe that is a good thing.
That would be some great content. Way to drum up some publicity. Is that it's just these you're putting four teams out there who absolutely despise each other. That'd be sick.
Like, you ever see that one Tim Robinson thing? He's like, assembling this band of 19 guys who really hate each other. Well, anyway, I'll go Bandits to sweep the weekend, and then you have Blaze Volts. I'll go Volts Blaze just to be different.
All right.
But let's go.
But that's the start of our Wet Hot American weekend, and we'll get
Bandits.
into the thick of it right now. With the first game being a horror. Actually, well, we got Miami versus Tampa Bay for the first game. Miami's not sure who they're throwing at all. Then they got on the other side for the Rays, they got Littell, Bradley, and Russ Munson. Fun fact for you, Spin. Marlins set a record for low attendance with 137 people there on yesterday's game. 137. That's it. It was abysmal down in Miami.
And they got swept by the Rockies.
And swept by the Rockies. Rockies are on a little 3-game win streak. It is like that. That's got to be the lowest of lows for the organization. If you're that team's owner, like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, that's really bad, huh?
Like,
because no one wants to go to see Rockies Miami anyway, so it's already a bad series. But then also, like, no one wants to watch you like maybe get swept, and then they did get swept.
Yeah, so when you're an owner and you see that, are you now thinking, oh, we got to move this team?
No, I don't think it's like that. I think it's we gotta find ways to put heinies in seats, and how do we do that? Maybe dollar beer night or something.
Yeah, $1 beer, $1 dog.
It's hard in Miami though, because this time of year, Miami, it's not the Northeast where sports are gonna prevail. Like for the most part, like this is Miami. If your team sucks, what do? You go surfing and you eat like Cuban sandwiches and you go clubbing and you wear fun, vibrant outfits and shit, like cool hats. Like what do you do? Like there's beaches and shit. Like it's not the Northeast where it's like if the Phillies stink, it's a long summer. But what are you gonna do? So who do you have here? There's Miami probably knows by now. I don't really want to search it because
neither do I, because it's Miami.
And this is in Tampa.
Actually, so give me. I'm gonna ride Tampa Bay for the Friday game because they're just coming off that huge win. I think they're gonna ride that
into on a 3-game win streak.
Yeah, but then I'm probably gonna go with. Actually, give me the Rays again on Saturday with Taj Bradley on the bump. Actually, Tampa Bay sweeps the series. I don't think Miami wins any games this series.
So, yeah, I mean, Miami is on a 4-game losing streak. That would put them on a 7-game losing streak.
Yeah, give me that.
Which would be horrible.
Give me that.
And that would put Tampa Bay on a 6-game win streak, which is not crazy to think for Tampa Bay. Especially, who did they just sweep? Texas?
Yeah.
And they have a homestand here. What did they just sweep their homestand? That would be crazy. Miami's giving you no reason to like them, though. But prior to them getting swept by Colorado, their offense wasn't horrible.
And we were giving them crap for bringing down Chandler Simpson. But once again, dude, that front office and that coaching staff, they know what team they're putting out there. And so they have their team. They know their team's pulse. They know what they need every single year. We can talk as bad as we want about the Rays every single year, but they are always going to be a surprising team every year after year.
Yeah, they do the little things right. They play a good brand of baseball. You got to tip your hat to the coaching staff and Kevin Cash. He's one of the greats. He's a 3-time manager of the year. He's that motherfucker. Anyway, I'll hop Tampa Bay tonight too. I think I picked up Zach Littell in a fantasy league, so I got to ride with my boy. Love the stream. Anyway, Miami for the Saturday game over Taj Bradley. I don't know. I don't want to. I'll just be a little different. I'll save my sweeps for a little bit later in the program. And then Drew Rasmussen's stud. Drew Rasmussen's a stud. He wins. Tampa Bay wins the series, but maybe Miami gets one in.
Then we got Philly at Pittsburgh. Guess what, Phillies? I don't care that you have Joe Ross starting tonight. You need to sweep this series. But we got Joe Ross going against Bailey Falter, which this might be the worst pitching matchup in the entire league tonight.
Well, he's only going like 2 innings, right?
It's a bullpen game. Yeah, it's a bullpen game.
Because then they won, I think, with 2 innings out of him, and then Taiwan comes in for as long as he can go.
Yeah, because Wheeler, the certified sex haver, is on paternity leave right now.
That's right.
Congrats to Zach.
Do you see his TikTok?
Yeah. But then we get Saturday, we got Ranger versus the Heine, and then Sunday we got Chris Sanchez going against Skeens.
It's a good bounce back series for them.
They need to. So I think they're going to go I honestly think they're going to go 2-1 this series. I don't think they're going to sweep. I actually think, in all honesty, I think they're going to lose tonight, and I think they're going to win the next two. I don't care. The Skeens is on the bump Sunday. I think Sanchez can pitch well enough to keep him in the game, and then once the bullpen comes in, shell the bullpen. But I think Pittsburgh ends up winning tonight. Taiwan, I give him shit, but he hasn't looked great. He hasn't looked bad though coming out of the pen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Falter, I actually think Falter's had a couple decent.
Yeah,
outings.
he has been.
Yeah,
he's coming off a good May, maybe even a good. His first start of June was good. Here, I could pull it up.
You got it. Because I think he hasn't had a couple. He's had pretty good outings.
I think he's been really fucking good, actually. He's got a 3.14 ERA. We love that.
Yeah, look at some of those starts, man.
He's 3-0 in his last 6, 3-0 in his last 5, realistically.
Yeah. So I mean,
quality start, good outing, quality start, 7 innings there.
Yeah.
Didn't go deep, but not awful. Quality start there, 6 shorts.
San Diego,
quality
7.
start there. Yeah, these are some of these teams ain't even that bad, man.
Yeah.
San Diego here, Milwaukee here, pitching
Cincy.
well. Cincy can get you at times, but he went 7 scoreless there, no walks, 5 K. Fucking guy, Atlanta can get you, though they haven't been playing well, but still.
Yeah.
He gets a win, 6 scoreless.
San Diego again.
San Diego, he's had San Diego's number all season. Now, the Dodgers got him a little bit here, but he's even before Washington. Like, not bad stuff. Good outing here. Bailey Falter's pitching like a fucking all-star. he might have to take Luzardo's place on the team.
But so I think they're gonna have. I mean, if the Phillies have to throw out a bullpen start, we know how bad their bullpen is. It's gonna be. I don't care. It's the Pirates. It's gonna look real bad.
So, fun little fact here. Before we get too deep into it, I hit the nail on the head with the Phillies last series. I had Philly, Toronto. Nailed that one. I don't know if a lot of people saw that coming. I didn't want it to happen. You don't like to see Phillies do well, but you also hit the head, and I had the Yankees sweeping. You had the Phillies sweeping. I had the Yankees sweeping, but we both got each other's teams because you had New York, Cleveland, New York, where I had this.
Yeah.
So you were very realistic on what the Yankees series looked like, and I was kind of taking a gamble on Toronto there. But I also didn't know Harper was going to be in the lineup for all the games. Anyway.
Didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Anyway, so I have a good gauge right now on Philly. So you think they lose tonight? I think they get back at it. Let's go, Philly. They're too good of a team to they're on a 2-game losing streak. They lose back-to-back series. They're too good of a team to not start off on the right foot against this shitty-ass Pittsburgh team. Let's go. Come out and kick ass like we know that they know how. I don't care if it's a bullpen game and Falter's been pitching good. I don't give a shit. Falter's not going to – if Falter goes the whole game, I'll be shocked. But you tap into their pen, they'll wreck that bullpen. Phillies this year, one thing that they've been really good at is beating up on bullpens. So let's go there. And their bullpen has to do enough. Maybe it'll be great. However, the only thing that's scary about a bullpen game is that now you're going to be asking a lot for Ranger the next day.
Which he's shown up this year.
And I like him tomorrow too, or on Saturday. I like Ranger there. I do think I'm with you on that one. I do think they win the first 2 games of this series. I think they bounce back in a big way. However, I think they're going to run into Skeens. And last time they got into Skeens was when Abel pitched because they faced off already this year. And Abel outpitched them. Not that Skeens pitched bad, though. I don't think you get 2 of those on Skeens. So I think Skeens is too dead. I mean, if he goes like another 7 innings, 1 run or whatever the fuck he did.
They don't hit for him, though. That's my only thing.
I know, but I don't think you do that twice. I don't think twice in a row to the same team.
If any team would do it, it'd be Pittsburgh.
That's true. I just think you got over 1 with Skeens. You got away with 1. They didn't hit. And Abel pitched great. You could tip your hat. Now it's Christopher Sanchez. Not to say that Sanchez can't shut him down, but I think Skeens will also do enough to keep his team in a game. And I think this time, I don't think they don't hit for him against the same team 2 times they face off in a row.
Mm-hmm. But then we get into Texas, Washington. Got Patrick Corbin going against Mike Soroka. DeGrom versus Mitchell Parker, and Tyler Mahle versus a Trevor Williams.
Every time you see something like this, you want to think that Texas is going to kick ass because you look at the pitchers they roll out, and then it's just like they play, and it's like, holy shit.
Like, I think – so we talked earlier how bad of a spot the Rangers are in. Like, they're in a bad place right now, and I think a loss like they just took sticks with them. I mean, like, listen, the Nationals aren't anything to shout about. They are 29-33, 5.5 games out of the wild card, 9.5 games back. They got like James Wood is going to be an all-star this year. He's definitely going to be an all-star this year. CJ Abrams plays well. We talk about this every time. We talk about the same 3 guys. But with that being said, Patrick Corbin hasn't looked bad this year. I'd probably roll. No, you know what? After that loss, dude, I don't like a team that's in this bad of a spot right now. I don't know how they're going to bounce back after they just how they lost that game.
Washington and Texas have the same amount of wins, but Texas has one more loss. So win percentage wise, Washington is just that much better, and they're the home team.
Give me the Nationals tonight, DeGrom on Saturday, and then the Nationals on Sunday.
Wow, so Washington wins the series.
Like, I think Washington's whole purpose this year is to finish above the Braves. Like, I think that's what the fans just want this year. I think that they just want to see them finish above the Braves.
They are at home. Texas is pitching. You really makes you want to believe in them. Now you tap into that. The offense isn't quite there, and then you tap into the pen, and so they have. It's like more bad than good, even though you want to believe in them. I'll also take Washington tonight because I don't think Texas is in a position to sweep, even though they have to sweep. Kind of, they have to like sweep everybody. It feels like. But again, that puts a lot of pressure on them. Maybe they just take a deep breath and say, fuck it. Maybe they run into another one tonight that doesn't go their way. So that's a 4-game lose streak. But after that, they really have to get their shit together. I think they win with DeGrom, and then they win with Tyler Mahle, who's coming off his worst outing. He has to build off of his last outing there, or bounce back, I should say. Tough to bet against DeGrom and the boys. Those guys can keep you in games. And I don't love Mitchell Parker, Trevor Williams. Let's fucking go. Texas wins the series, but Washington wins tonight.
And then to the most interesting one of the weekend, Boston, New York. Walker Buehler versus a Will Warren. Crochet versus a Yarborough. Yarborough?
Yeah.
Did I say that?
Battle a couple of lefties there.
And then Hunter Dobbins versus Rodon. I think New York wins the series 2-1. I'm going to go with your boy Will Warren tonight.
Love that.
But then I'm probably going to ride with Crochet on Saturday. The only reason I'm saying this is because I don't think the Yankees sweep. That's why.
I want. And they play this weekend, and then they also face off in Fenway next weekend. I want 4-2.
Yeah, and I think Rodon's going to win on Sunday.
Okay, I kind of want to go with you here. I mean, Will Warren's a guy, and is he one of the guys that got shelled in Chavez Ravine? He might have been. I think he was. I think he was one of the guys who got shelled in Chavez Ravine while they were there. So he bounced back would be great, and he's been very reliable lately. Yarborough's been even better. So that's going to be Saturday's going to be sneaky good. Everyone's got all eyes on Crochet, but Yarborough can answer the call. That game will be on Fox. I might just agree with you here. You were right on the Yanks this past weekend. I was a little over my head and thinking they're going to sweep. Cleveland did get to that in that second game. So we'll go Will Warren and the boys. Love Will Warren. We'll go Crochet. Tough to bet against him. And that little stinker chick is going to be crocheting.
Yeah.
You know that girl? And then I think we go Road on that's an ESPN. That's Sunday Night Baseball on Sunday, of course, the rivalry. Rodon's pitching really well. He looked fantastic in this Cleveland series. So I don't know if he's like due to kind of get rocked around, but fuck it. I think he loves the big moment. He does. I think he loves that adrenaline. So under the lights, Sunday Night Baseball rivalry, he's going to be all over it.
So next we get into Arizona at Cincy. Eduardo Rodriguez versus Nick Lodolo, Apple TV game. Saturday, we got a Rain Nelson versus a Nick Martinez. And then Sunday, Zach Gallen versus Brady Singer. we have Arizona obviously coming off a sweep. Big for the Snakes going against a struggling Cincy team. Cincy, you can't really figure out what's going on. One day they're here, one day they're there. They're just kind of all over the place. We knew that's kind of how Cincy would be. Mm-hmm. They're going to be hard to kind of, pin down what they actually are. They're 30-33, 4-6 in their last 10, while the Snakes, on the other hand, are 5-5, but they're on a 4-game win streak right now. So they're going to extend it to 5 tonight. Eduardo Rodriguez isn't great, but I think they're riding high. They're going to ride the high of that win against Atlanta. Win tonight. Yeah, what's his name?
Ryan Nelson,
yeah.
Not Reen.
It spells his name weird.
Yeah.
Ryan Nelson. I don't know. How has he been this year, Ryan?
It's a good question. We could.
Because Nick Martinez has been up and down, hasn't he?
Yeah, I actually think for the most part, Nicky Martinez has been good.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Reens in the league, even Stanek.
That's weird.
Why
did it spell like that?
I don't know.
Oh, he's been decent.
He has been pretty good as of late, maybe out of the pen at times.
Yeah.
But now with Burnsy getting banged up, they're going to ask. He has proven to go pitch into the 7th a few starts ago. Granted, that was against Pittsburgh, but not bad all in all. He can kind of be like a long reliever for you if you need him to start a game. He can do that. He's kind of probably been their Taiwan Walker this year.
That's a good comparison. And since you make that comparison, give me Nick Martinez, and then give me Zach Gallen on Sunday.
I think I'm kind of with you here. I do think Arizona is going to bounce back. This will put them over 500, a win of the series. I do want to see Nick Martinez. Maybe I shouldn't even dwell on it too much. I feel like he has been pretty. He's been up and down.
Yeah, he's been like all over the place. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, last outing,
worse than
great, but he's had a really good stint. I remember he was a little bit of a streamer for me at a certain point. I do think he could possibly take care of business. They are the home team, but this is an all hands on deck approach for Arizona. I mean, when Burns gets banged up, Gallen has to build off of his last start because he looked fantastic against Strider and Atlanta. So a guy like Erod, who's a veteran and a lefty, like step up greatly with Burns going down. And got in a good division that you are 500. You just got to 500. Get him over the hump. And now it's going to be him tonight over Lodolo. So I'm with you there. I don't think they are going to sweep Cincy since he is home. Whatever. Nick Martinez, he can pitch well for you. And then Gallen he'll start to show why he'll remind everybody why he's a Cy Young candidate just about every year. So Arizona, Cincy, Arizona, I'm with you.
To the next series, two of the best teams in baseball facing off. This is going to be electric. We got Chicago at Detroit.
This will be electric.
Ben Brown versus
top teams in the Central.
Exactly. Ben Brown versus Tariq Skubal, Tyone versus Montero, and then Horton versus Flattery.
And real quick, we just talked about how cool the series is going to be. Tonight's on Apple TV, so you won't even see it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be super fun. Ben Brown, to give me a Skubal, I always am going to ride with Skubal. Yeah. Every single time he's on the bump, he's going to give his team the best chance to win. It's actually kind of funny because we talk about how good Detroit's pitching could be, but really they just have Skubal going this outing, and we talk about how Chicago's only flaw is their pitching as well. So where Detroit could have had to step up with them, you know what I mean? They don't really have it anymore. I know I'm more of a Flattery guy than you are, so I'm actually going to go with Saturday. I'm going to have Chicago winning. Man, I think I've had kind of the same. No, I haven't. Okay. But then give me Flattery on Sunday.
I don't hate that at all. I already wrote mine. Mine's already pen to paper, so I'm not going to change it too much, and I have my reasons why I did it. I like yours better because 2 out of 3 from Detroit at home makes sense. I mean, it's tough to think.
Only team with 40 wins in baseball. They're at 41 right now.
Damn, the Mets didn't get there yesterday. No, the Mets lost.
39-39 right now.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just to take Detroit to be at home and take 2 out of 3. It makes so much sense. I don't think they sweep, but they are home, so they probably win the series. That makes too much sense for me. However, I'm going to go a little bit of a different route. Again, tough to bet against Skubal, but the Cubs do better than probably most people is hit. Their offense is incredible. So Skubal's going to have his work cut out for him, but Skubal could also shut him the fuck down. And if you shut down that he's going against Ben Brown. And Ben Brown, I don't think is going deep. Like he's going to be doing what Joe Ross is doing. Mm-hmm. And then they have someone else. I'm pretty sure. So, okay, whatever. So Skubal can, I think, keep the offense quiet. And then I think, you can hit off this pen. I don't know how deep they are. So Detroit can certainly put up runs and Skubal can keep you in the game. Then I do like the Cubs against this Kiter Montero dude on Saturday. I take the Cubs. I'm with you there. Tyone's going to have his work cut out for him, but he can do it. And then I'm going to take the Cubs over on Sunday to win the series. I think Cubs go on the road to win the series. I think offense is going to prove to prevail. But I think if this team would face off and Detroit would throw their better pitchers, I think that would prove that pitching wins games because you're really shutting down a good offense. But in this, I think the Cubs pitching can do enough to shut down Detroit, and the Cubs offense is just going to continue to do what they do.
That's fair. Then we get into Houston, Cleveland. Houston still hanging on to that first place in that AL West division. Now they're 1.5 games up on Seattle, so gained a little bit of ground. And I think they're going to gain a little bit more ground with
Seattle
Cleveland.
Got swept by Baltimore, by the way.
Yeah, Baltimore's on a 6-game win streak.
How about that?
But Colton Gordon versus Logan Allen, Hunter Brown versus Gavin Williams, and then to be determined versus Tanner Bibby on Sunday. Cleveland has a playoff position right now. They are sitting 6.5 games back out of first, but are half game up in the wild card. Astros sitting at top of the division, like I already said. I think the Astros are going to look to gain a little bit more ground. I think the Astros are better than the Guardians. Guardians have played more consistently good baseball. Houston's been a little bit more hot as of late. Guardians are 4-6 in their last 10. Houston 7-3. So give me Colton tonight. Don't know who Colton Gordon is.
Neither do I, but I'm riding with him too.
Hunter Brown, obviously. And then Bibby on Sunday because I don't think Houston sweeps.
I don't think Houston sweeps. This also is in Cleveland. But I'm doing the same exact thing. I think Houston is a damn good team. They're going to get on a little bit of a streak. So they're one in a row. That's not really a streak, though. That's just one in a row. But I think tonight they make it 2. Hunter Brown and the boys make it 3. They're the team that can kind of, when they get hot, they keep rolling. They take care of business. They are a take care of business franchise. And we've seen that in the past 8 years or whatever. So I do think Houston can get on a little bit of a streak. They are on the road. Bibby's good. Cleveland's not a bad team at all. So I don't think they sweep. And then Bibby, whatever the fuck his name is, Bipper, Tanner Bipper.
Can get it done.
And Bipper didn't have the greatest outing against the. Maybe he pitched all right against the Yankees, but I think he did get a loss in that game, if I'm not mistaken. At least the Yankees won that game he pitched, so he'd be looking to bounce back and then try to avoid a sweep. Bibby's the guy to do it.
All right, now we move to Kansas City versus the White Sox. Seth Lugo versus Davis Martin. Waka versus Adrian Hauser, and then Lorenzen versus Shane Smith. I want Kansas City to climb. So this is more of a I'm betting with my heart kind of thing, but give me Kansas City to sweep.
Wow, I love that. I actually don't hate some of these pitchers, the White Sox right now.
Neither do I, but like I said, it's more with my heart than my head.
Shane Smith could be the lone all-star to come out of the White Sox.
Yeah, but isn't Davis Martin doing pretty well for them this year
too? He could be. Adrian Hauser has been spectacular for them.
Maybe I'm thinking of him. I mean, he's 2-6 with a 3.67. It's not horrible.
Not horrible. Adrian Hauser has been off of his fucking cock.
Yeah, 1.47 since getting the call up. He's only started.
Where did he come from? Milwaukee. I remember him. I think with Milwaukee. I don't know. We'll do a deep dive on Adrian Hauser on a later date.
Oh no, he's old, dude.
He's been around. I remember him. I thought he was a Brewer, maybe with other teams. Well,
he's only played in 3 games so far this year. All quality starts, every single one of them, actually.
Spectacular. So I almost like him here, but I also think this is a great series for Caglione to go yard because that's just how shit works. You know, like you get called up, but then you're in. Was he in St. Louis,
Milwaukee, and then he was with the Mets last year, and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think this is how just baseball works. If you're Caglione, you get called up and you have like this road stand, you know. So you start the season, you start your career in St. Louis, like on the road in the Lou, and then you go to Chicago White Sox. So one of these days he's going to run into one. His first homer is going to come on the road. That's just how baseball works. So I think he'll go yard tonight off of Davis Martin. I do think Kansas City tonight, though. They're going to continue to roll, and him just being in that lineup, we talked about it, helps that offense greatly. I'm going to roll with the White Sox and Adrian Hauser. They split the series against Detroit, I think, the White Sox. Anyway, I would roll with Adrian Hauser because I have him in fantasy and I want him to shove. And then I'll go KC because I think they're the better team, clearly, even though I like Shane Smith. So they are throwing out Adrian Hauser, Shane Smith, like, those guys, you want to back them. I just don't think that they will back them, but both of them can give you good outings.
Next is Toronto at Minnesota. Toronto's not sure who they're throwing tonight versus the Oberman. Kevin Gausman versus Chris Paddock, and then Bowden Francis versus Joe Ryan. So we talked about how hot Toronto was. We both kind of agreed that at their height, their ceiling, they are a wild card team. But the Minnesota Twins right now are a wild card team, sitting a game above. Kind of come back down to earth from their super hot streak they had earlier. They're 5-5 in their last 10.
It matters to me who's throwing for Toronto tonight, for being honest.
Because of Bailey, because of the Ober.
You do have the Ober, and I wonder who the fuck it would be. We just saw Barrios, Bassett. We're seeing Gausman and Bowden Francis.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a bullpen thing.
I don't even know another fucking starter for them.
Neither do I.
We'll have to just see.
I mean, Ober hasn't been bad this year. He's a 4-1 record. He's 348. Give me the hotter team. Give me Toronto tonight. 3-game win streak for him. And then, dude, they're winning the series. Give me Gausman and then give me Joe Ryan on Sunday. Are you looking right now?
You got Gausman. I kind of want to do that too. This is going to be a very interesting series. Yeah, this series is too fucking interesting. Not sure unless Scherzer comes back. It's not though.
He started taking live bullpens though.
Dude, they have no fucking clue. They just don't know.
Are they throwing Gausman tonight? They might be throwing Gausman tonight.
Nah, Saturday. That's what it says on this, at least. Damn, that's weird. Maybe it's just a bullpen bullshit game.
Paxton Schultz. He's 0-0 with a 1.84 ERA.
And
he's a reliever.
So they're doing that.
14 innings pitched.
So he's kind of like a long reliever. There's a lot of teams that have been rocking with some long relievers as of late.
Yeah, so he'll be on the bump tonight.
Okay, Paxton Schultz. Let's roll with Paxton Schultz then. Fuck it, over the over.
Over the over.
I'm not taking the over tonight. I'm taking fucking Paxton Schultz. I kind of want to do what you did. Fuck it, I'll agree. You talk me into it. They get on a little bit of a win streak. It's not going to go forever, and then they run into Minnesota. They avoid a sweep because Minnesota is also the home team. So it's crazy that we have some of these teams coming in and winning the first few games at their place. But Toronto, let's get it.
All right, so then we get into San Diego at Milwaukee. You got Vasquez, Kolick, and Burgert.
Yeah, I have no idea who this guy is.
But for the three of them, and then Patrick Quintana and Savale for Milwaukee on the opposite side. Milwaukee obviously had that hot streak, still continuing. They're 9-1 in their last 10 right now. I mean, they broke the win streak against the team they just played. San Diego on the opposite side, they're 35-26. 2 games back in the division, 6-4 in their last 10 on a 2-game losing streak right now. So actually, Chad Patrick has been pretty damn good for them this year.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Chad Patrick tonight. Quintana also has looked good for the Brewers, but in his last outing with Milwaukee, it was against the Phillies. I was actually at the game. He was walking a lot of people. Did not have a lot of control. He looked pretty bad. Not bad at all because he was able to get out of it. I think that's more credit to how much the Phillies sucked. But give me San Diego on Saturday. And then give me, I don't know anything about those two guys. Give me Milwaukee on Sunday.
Savali, not awful, but
not great either.
PIO,
yeah,
not overpowering guy. This is Burgert though. Kind of been a guy. I guess they've asked him to start his last outing. He's been out of the pen, and now he went 5-2, 5 innings, 2 earned in San Fran on the 3rd in that San Fran series in San Fran. So not bad stuff there when they asked him to go deeper and maybe become a starter a little bit. But whatever. I'm going to do the exact opposite of you. I'm going to go Randy Vasquez over Chad Patrick. I don't know. I think San Diego's the better team, and they just do it. Then we got – I'm going to go Milwaukee. I know Stephen Kolick he's been pissing me off lately, and I don't hate Quintana, and I think Milwaukee's good enough to answer back. But then you go to the rubber match, and even though it's at Milwaukee's place, and you got Bernie Brewer going down the slide, even though that's the case, I will go with San Diego to win the rubber match on Sunday over Savali, maybe Burgert. You know, no one really knows Ryan Burgert, so maybe he has one up over these hitters.
So the next series – St. Louis versus the Dodgers. Dodgers going to St. Louis. Justin, I don't even know who that. Robleski.
Yeah, Robleski.
Robleski versus Sonny Gray. Yamamoto versus Fetty, and then they're not sure. Neither teams are sure who they're throwing on come Sunday. This has to be just like the 14th or 15th starter for the Dodgers at this point, and yet they're still winning games. I hate it. I hate that that's the case, but they are. It's insane to me. But they're just coming out. They just won last night, right? Against the Mets.
I'm
pretty sure.
They split that series.
Yeah, give me I mean, Sonny Gray. I don't like betting against Sonny Gray because he is like old reliable for those guys and for a lot of people. But I'm probably give me the Dodgers tonight, Dodgers Saturday, Dodgers Sunday. Dodgers sweep. This is a surprising sweep. Surprising sweep for me.
Dodgers in the loo.
Yeah.
Yes, surprising sweep. I don't have that. I think Sonny Gray tonight over Justin Robleski. It sounds like you're like burping in your mouth a little bit when you say it. Robleski. Anyway, Sonny Gray tonight. I'm going to go Yamamoto on Saturday. Tough to bet against him, but I think Fettuccine could shove. Why not?
It could.
And then if you're going to take a surprising Dodgers sweep, I'm going to take a surprising St. Louis wins the series 2 out of 3. TBD versus TBD. We could probably figure out who it is, but we'll just leave it at that. Fuck it. Give me those guys. Give me those guys.
And then we have the fuck you Mets versus in Colorado. we don't really need to touch on this one a whole lot. The Mets are a good team. The Colorado is not.
But
Colorado,
they won 3 in a row.
3-game win streak.
Mets 1-game losing streak. And, I mean, maybe we like Colorado, huh?
No, I'm giving the Mets a sweep
They're
again.
the home team.
Yeah, I'm giving the Mets a sweep again. I hate saying it, but Kodai with the pitching duel of Kodai, Clay, and Trevor, and then Santillazela, Palquist, and Marquez for Colorado. Give me the Mets sweep.
I'm gonna go Senga. I'm gonna go Holmes. I'm gonna go German Marquez at home over Meagle. Fuck Meagle.
Fuck Meagle.
Fuck Meagle.
Fuck Meagle and fuck Brandon Nimmo.
No, but here's the thing about the Rockies though. Like now they kind of know what winning tastes like after they just swept. Not only did they sweep, that was the first series win in general. So not only is that the case, but the scary thing about what I just did is like it's almost like you want to ride the high like tonight while they're at home because if they start losing again, I just think that's just going to continue to carry over for a while. So I don't know if they're good enough to lose, and then bounce back with a win. But now they got a little bit of a winning in their mouth, so maybe they just don't get swept. I don't know.
Then we get to Seattle versus LA. Seattle losing their first place spot.
They're pissed, right?
Yeah, and then versus LA, who is 28-33. 3-7 in their last 10. So we talked about how electric it was seeing Trout coming back down to earth now. 3-7 in their last 10, being the team that everybody kind of thought they were. Bryce Miller versus Kyle Hendricks tonight. Luis Castillo versus Jack Kachanowicz on Saturday. And George Kirby versus Tyler Anderson. Now listen, if you're the Angels and you see Bryce Miller and George Kirby and Luis Castillo, all guys who you're like, other teams have hit them. Why can't we at this point? You know what I mean? Seattle's trending down, but LA is as well. So I'm going to go with kind of like Seattle's pissed. They want their first place back. So give me Bryce Miller and Castillo, but then Kirby versus Anderson. Give me Anderson on Sunday.
Then this is in Anaheim. Oops. This is in Anaheim. So I'm going to shock the world. I don't have a lot of sweeps right now.
I don't think you have any.
I have no sweeps. This is a good time for my first one. Seattle sweeps in Anaheim. At their place. They come in, they're pissed that they lost their first, and I think this is a great opportunity. Bryce Miller hasn't really been the Bryce Miller we thought that he's capable of being. He's usually a stud. He hasn't been that this year. George Kirby on Sunday hasn't been great since coming off the IL. This is a great opportunity for both those guys. It's similar to Texas when we talked about when you see all their pitchers come out and their pitching probables, it's almost like you want to bet on these guys. And then they go out and play, and it's like, oh, fuck. It's kind of similar with Seattle right now. It's like when you see Miller, Castillo, Kirby, bang, 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 it's like you want to do it. But then you look at like their ERAs.
Great this year.
Miller hasn't done it, and neither has Kirby. I think this is a great opportunity for them. I think they're too good to be in the gutter for too long. Miller over Hendricks, love it. Castillo, they're pissed. They want to get first place back. And these guys are too good of a pitchers to not do it. I think they're going to come in and shut the fucking door. We're going to see Bryce Miller beat Bryce Miller again. We're going to see Kirby beat George Kirby again. Castillo's been reliable. So
and then we have Houston winning 2 games, right?
Yes, we both have Houston.
So that would put Seattle a half game back if they swept,
which would be crazy. And that's what we want to see. We like the drama.
But then we get into Baltimore, 6-game win streak. Baltimore versus the Athletics. Dean Kremer. The A's aren't sure who they're throwing each night, which is kind of on par for the A's.
Yeah, they don't know even what day it is, probably.
Yeah, Dean Kremer and Morton and Sugano going for Baltimore. I would love to say that the A's are going to win. The A's are 1-9 in their last 10, and it's sad. It sucks.
Try something here.
Who do you got?
Severino for this day.
Severino for Saturday.
I just got to do this one at a time. We're manually doing this shit. Okay, we don't know about him. They have a guy named Jacob Lopez. All right. Sometimes I have to like spaz out and talking cats over here, guys. You guys like cats? Shine off in the comments if you like cats. Anyway, no, JP Sears is one of these days. JP Sears tonight, Severino tomorrow. And then who cares about Sunday?
Yeah, so I'm going to have Sevy win, and that's going to be it. Because I think they extended to 7. There's a little 7-game win streak. Let the Orioles fans get a little bit more delusional. You know what I mean? And then have them lose on Saturday, and then Sunday let Sugano Orioles win the series 2-1.
Okay, so who do you have?
Baltimore, A's, Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore's on one. Now they have I know they're away now, but they just swept, and now look at them.
8-2 in their last 10, 6-game win streak.
Little West Coast savages right now because they just swept in Seattle. Now they're in West Sacramento. Little West Coast savages, these Orioles. Okay, let me go with JP Sears to shut him down tonight. He's a lefty. That might be nice. Some of the better hitters in Baltimore are lefties. And also, is Baltimore going to win fucking 7 in a row? I don't know. Or 7 in a row?
Yeah, it'd be 7.
I think Sears can shut him down, but I think they're going to get to Sevy. I think they're going to get pissed off and say, hey, we're getting a little taste of, we're kind of like the Rockies, but not. We're getting a little taste of winning. We're going to go out. Morton has been pitching better in his last few. At least 2 starts ago, he's been good, I thought. Okay, he's going to do it. I don't think they're going to think you got to look at Severino. Hey, they know Severino from his Yankee days, okay? They've hit him before. Let's go. Fucking pounce on his ass. And then Sugano has been nothing short but spectacular. He might be an all-star this year, Sugano.
Trade deadline piece.
And maybe a deadline piece, a depth piece.
Orioles need to stop winning.
Yeah.
But anyway, Atlanta's versus Seattle. Don't put that up. Atlanta versus San Francisco. We got Schwelly versus a Birdsong. Birdsong's been great. Elder versus Webb. Wow, this is a nightmare series for Atlanta, especially being in San Francisco. And then Spencer Strider versus Landon Rupp, whatever.
Again, you almost want to like Schwellenbach and Strider, right?
But Birdsongs look good. The Atlanta's traveling.
You're nuts if you think I'm going against Webb.
Horrible last. Strider's going to be the only time the Braves win. Give me San Francisco, and then the Braves. But I want to see Birdsong's stats because I'm pretty sure he's been great.
Now, San Fran just went toe-to-toe with San Diego.
3-1 with a 2.37. Yeah, Birdsongs look good
for you, Hayden. And this is in San Fran. So
it's got a cool name.
Pitchers Park, yeah, Birdsong. That's like a bird song. Anyway, I like San Fran just went toe-to-toe with San Diego. They think they split the series. So where Atlanta gets swept by an under 500 Arizona team. They were under 500. Now they're 500. But at the time, Arizona was under 500, and Atlanta gets swept at home. Where San Fran, on the other hand, and that's in that same period of time, is going toe-to-toe with a good San Diego team. And, like, it just shows you what teams are taking care of business right now and what teams are fucking selling a little bit. Like, so that makes you not want to believe in Atlanta. I have to you're crazy if you think I'm going against Webb. So I'm going to take Atlanta tonight with Schwellenbach. Sorry, Birdsong. We like you. You're pretty cool, but no. And guess what? Spencer Strider, fuck you. I have San Fran winning the series, but Atlanta tonight, San Fran. Landon Roop. Strider's going to continue to get right.
Yeah. I hope he does. I hope he continues to get shoved. Fuck Spencer Strider.
But I don't even hate the guy, but there's guys in the comment sections on TikTok that are kind of making me hate him more and more.
If Spencer Strider has 0 haters, then I'm dead. Basically, like I will always hate Spencer Strider.
Yeah. So I don't even hate Strider like that. But I gave a very realistic assessment of him, and people are like still backing him up. Like that's the reason he's overrated. Is the more that you try to hype him up. So,
just on and on and on and on and on with it.
Anyway, I don't even say he was overrated. He's leaning that way though. And I think he could very well go out and shove. It could be his best outing of his year of the year for him. But fuck him. I like Schwellenbach tonight to kind of snap this losing streak, and then San Fran takes the next 2. They're at home. You love Logan Webb, so let's fucking go. And I'm not even betting on San Fran on Sunday. I'm just kind of now I've become a Spencer Strider hater, and for no reason at all.
There's a good reason for it.
Yeah, I just kind of want to say fuck you. Oh, well, that's nice, huh?
That was the Wet Hot American Weekend, baby. Next week, tune in because we're going to be getting into the All-Stars, especially on Wednesday. Monday, we'll be recapping, talking a little bit about everything that happened this weekend. But Wednesday, I'm pumped for Wednesday. Get into the All-Stars.
Because now that That's gonna be fun. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sean is spin here in the morning. It's a beautiful day. Go outside and play. Go outside and teeter totter.
Look at that, Zachary.
Yeah, go play. Let's go swing on the swing. Thank you to this small but sure enough basic media. We'll catch you on Monday.